Hi there, I'm Kevin Yannick, editor of Pit and Quarry Magazine. We've got with us one of our regular contributors, Anthony Konya, who's with Precision Blasting Services. Anthony, thanks for joining the program again.
Yeah, glad to be back.
Well, Anthony, I feel like we've talked about a lot of different things today. We've talked about education, technology, and automation certainly fits into that equation when you're thinking technology and where the blasting world has come. You have a vision for what the future is going to look like and autonomous operations of drilling and blasting. That seems like that is where you're thinking. So let's hear where your mind's at, where your head is spinning, and what the future may look like, and how far down the road it may be when it comes to automation in drilling and blasting operations.
The automation in drilling and blasting, I think, is an incredibly interesting topic, especially today, because the new technologies we're seeing are just going to start to turn the tide towards making that a reality. Today we already have things like autonomous drilling systems where, these drills, they have certain markers on where they're supposed to drill. And you don't need an operator in the cab. You don't need an operator on the bench. They're already moving to the place, identifying where they're at, and drilling the hole exactly as you've designed it from, let's say, an office space. Now, the big thing is going to be is, can we ever get to autonomous explosive loading? And when you think about it, things like emulsions and anfos, you think they could already probably be autonomously loaded. You're just going up to a hole, you're identifying it, you're putting in something to that hole, whether it's an emulsion or an anfo, and that's a fairly straightforward process. There's not too much more complexity there than the drilling process. But the big key is today, it's almost impossible to have robotics that are accurate enough to go find all the lead lines from the detonators that are inside of the borehole, properly hook all those up, and then go back to a place further away to not be damaged during that blast. And so that's really where that hangup is right now. It's in that connection of the lead lines. And so I think what we're going to see in the future is we're going to end up seeing drones coming out. They're going to fully model a bench face. That'll be sent to an engineer sitting in an office who will design a blast. The data will be sent to a drilling system, and an autonomous drill will drill each and every one of these boreholes. The drone will then fly back over and get within millimeter accuracy the location of each of those boreholes. It can then upload that to a blast loading platform, which is also autonomous. And here's the big key for this. We need to get rid of the wires in the blast hole. So how do we do that? Well, we've already started to see some of these products coming out with 100% wireless detonators. So now it will be as simple as having a machine, an autonomous loading system, put a detonator into a borehole that's wireless, pumped or auger in explosives on top of that detonator, and then leave the site. The stemming is probably already something that we could do with some of the autonomous loaders or remote control loading systems, and that's not too difficult to find either. Now, you've completely loaded an entire blast. It's sitting there, and an engineer from an office can send out a signal, program all of those wireless detonators. The all clear can be called, or in the future of mining where everything's autonomous, all the equipment will leave the mine site, and the engineer can fire the blast, and we've now completely autonomously drilled and loaded that shot.
Well, that's a very specific vision of what drilling and blasting operations are going to look like. Are you going to see that in your lifetime, in my lifetime, or is that beyond our years?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're probably at least 15 or 20 years away from that, if not more. I hope to see it somewhere in my lifetime, but it'll depend a lot on the available innovation. But I think the biggest component of that is it'll depend on what happens in other sectors, because the blasting portion of mining is one of the most dangerous aspects. And so we have to have a lot of safety precautions in place. And that's where having a blaster on the ground really has huge benefits over an autonomous loading system. It's that they can monitor what's happening and they can ensure the safety of the entire mine site, not only for themselves, but of all the other employees and equipment and the nearby public. So I think for an autonomous blasting system, what's going to really be the key is how fast will mines adopt automation in all of the other areas, loading, hauling, all of those other parameters that we're looking at. I think at some point it'll happen, but when, I can't put a date on that.
Let's hope we're still around. It would be an exciting day to see. I'm sure you would love to be there for it. And Anthony Konya, thanks for being here with us today. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here.